Hi there, my name is Tamara and I'm a psychologist based here in South Africa. Welcome to this channel based on psychotherapy, psychology, all things unconscious, raising consciousness and mental health towards traversing this life. Thank you for all your messages on Instagram and the comments here on YouTube. I'm going to try and get through them and bring content that you like. If there's any more content that you would be more interested to listen to or to understand and discover, please send through a message on the private Instagram, which is @theshrink. The handle's @theshrink. Or you can leave a comment here if you want to be more public on here on YouTube, and I will try my best to get through them and start to deliver content that's more appropriate for you if I can. If I can't, I will refer you to others that are competent in that area. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about how much impact do we really have on this life, on this earth. So many people think that to have an impact and to have some type of meaning in life, you have to do something big. You have to be Elon Musk or a huge humanitarian to have some type of impact and meaning. The nihilists then counter-argue of what is the point if there's no meaning to life. So both are valid arguments to look at and trying to see what is the point, what is your motivation for getting up every single day and getting through this life. Purpose and meaning are huge topics, and they've got a lot of sub-components that we'll be looking at. But just to start off, to understand how much impact we really have, is actually more small things that we can do every single day. Jordan Peterson speaks about how we are a node in a network. So you are part of a system, as we speak about often on this channel. So everything that you do, how you treat yourself, how you carry yourself in the world, and how you are motivated to do things impacts your entire system, even if it's a small system. So how that kind of looks like in the world is if you see, say, 5 to 10 people, smallish scale, within 1 week. So say you're working from home a lot. You got to remember those 5-10 people are then going into their systems and their extended families, work, all of those things, and they carrying whatever energy you have impacted on them. So have you noticed that when you're around someone that is going through a major depression and they can't get out of it, so say they're not seeking treatment or they're quite stuck, they're quite lost, they don't know how to help themselves, that whenever you're around them, your energy drops. Now, it's not to lose compassion for people that are struggling, but to understand the impact that we have on one another. So there's that old saying of you've got to surround yourself with 5 people and really check who those 5 people are, because they influence how you think, how you act, and how you behave in the world. Well, there is some truth to it, because have you ever wondered and thought about when you thought about your parents, grandparents, cousins, uncles, aunts, that you've always wanted them to do something with their life, say realize a childhood dream, stand up for themselves, set some boundaries, anything like that, is that's how much they've influenced you. And how did that impact you in playing small, in withdrawing yourself, not taking too many risks because you saw the impact on your family? Or if you saw someone take a risk and it failed, did that impact you not to do something and take a leap of faith? Conversely, have you ever been around somebody that has done something so out of character, something so brave and courageous, and it paid off? Or they grew in character, or they grew in confidence, because that's how we build resilience, is we face adversities. We don't avoid it, we don't run from it. We actually have to face it. So if we think about that impact of how you think, what you say, how you behave, how it impacts absolutely everybody around you, then you cannot go into your life thinking that you're not impactful. You're just not this speck in the universe that does nothing. You are influencing a system, and their system reverberates like a stone in a pond. It's like a systemic change. So everything that you do will influence that. So knowing that, how do you think that would impact your behavior going forward, in how you think, how you speak to people, how you treat yourself, how you treat other people? Such a powerful thought to think about not even thinking about when you pass and whatever you think happens to yourself, the body, the soul, whatever religious or spiritual connotation, but after that, the impact of you, of how you chose to live your life, how you chose to face the dark side of life. So Jung speaks about the shadow side as well as the light side, but how we faced that and overcame it, and also accepted that we have the capacity to be brutal, to hurt other people and ourselves, but also to feed the light side, the light of humanity, that we can all self-actualize towards our potential as much as possible, and that we all born basically good, that we are human beings that can do bad things. The only times where we can question is a person bad or good is more looking at psychopathy or sociopathy, where we're looking at the remorse centers in the brain that are very little developed or not evident at all. That's when moralistically we can start to question, are we good or bad, in terms of those people that have that. But the rest of us are just wounded. We're just human beings that are trying to traverse through life and trying to make sense of the world. A lot of people only ask themselves these existential questions of how much impact I truly have on other people when a catastrophe happens. So death, being laid off from work, changing careers, immigrating, big changes, huge changes that question our redundant patterns of thinking and ways of being in the world. So why do we have to wait for those things to happen? Why not ask yourself right here, right now, what's the point of it all? How much impact do I have? If I were to start to ask myself, if I do this, if I really question what is my place in this world and how much impact do I have, would it change the way I treat myself and how you treat yourself, how you treat other people, how you think about how you affect others, and also forgive yourself for your frailties, for being human. The spirit, the soul, the resilience that we have, the capacity to build, is much stronger than a lot of the things that can happen to it. Yes, trauma happens. Yes, adversity happens. Yes, grief happens. But why is it that there's this whole pool of people that can overcome them and there's another pool that doesn't? A lot of research looks at a lot of protective and buffering factors to it. Do they have supportive communities? Have they had a lot of trauma in the past that wasn't resolved or was avoided? So it's like a volcano that has become dormant and it's erupted. All of those types of things we have to look at. But in general, if we consistently take care of ourselves and take care of our networks and communities to such an extent that we are consciously living through life and not just being a participant in someone else's life, but in your own life. And to look at what your value system and your authenticity in terms of value systems are. How would you really traverse through this life? I hope that this type of thinking in terms of impact and understanding that you are a node in a network, you are part of a system. So it's not only up to your responsibility for yourself to actualize yourself, to work towards self-actualizing, because we never really fully self-actualize. It's not possible. The brain is too complex. The mind is too complex. It's like trying to study the universe out there. So the more that you get yourself towards your authenticity and working towards self-actualization and living with kindness and meaning, generosity with others, generosity to self, the more it impacts the system around you. With enough people coming together to doing that, we can reconstruct entire societies, entire social groups. Can you even imagine what that would look like? That with together in that pond, many stones being thrown out, the reverberation and how that would impact others. I hope that gives you food for thought. If you want any more existential purpose or meaning content, please drop a comment below or send a message on the shrink on Instagram. All the best.